Hello everybody, welcome to lesson 23, extra practice. I highly suggest that you watch this because it really will help with the practice problems. Today we are going to be focusing on how to find equivalent fractions on a number line. Okay, now I have this number line here. And initially when I look at this, I could say, oh, I see thirds, but we have to realize that these are all whole numbers. And so I'm looking at the space in between each whole number and know that the fractions fit in here. Each fraction fits in between. So I'm going to start by actually doing thirds, but I'm going to do it in between each whole number. So I'm going to go 2 lines to make thirds. So if I count the sections, 1, 2, 3 sections of 0 and 1. Okay, I'm going to do another set of thirds in between 1 and 2. And I'm counting those sections, and then 2 and 3. Okay, now I'm going to label my thirds. So at the top, and I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit to make it a little easier for me to write and for you to see. 0 thirds, 1 third, right? Because I'm thinking the distance from here to here is 1 third. 2 thirds, 3 thirds, which is equivalent to 1 whole, right? Because 3 out of 3 parts that are shaded would be 1 whole. 4 thirds, 5 thirds, 6 thirds, which is also equivalent to 2 wholes, right? Because if I had 6 thirds shaded, I'd have 2 wholes. 7 thirds, 8 thirds, and 9 thirds, which is also equivalent to 3 wholes. Okay, so I did my thirds here, and now what I'm going to do is do sixths, and I want to see where those 6 are also falling on the same spot as those thirds. And I'm going to change my color this time so you can see. Let's do blue. Okay, now I want there to be 6 sections. So I have to draw 5 lines in between each group of whole numbers to have 6. So I'm going to start by doing that. Now, actually, if I have thirds, some of my lines are going to fall on those third lines too. So if I put a 6, oops, got to switch my color. A 6 line here, it's also going to fall on top of that third line. Here, here, and here, right? Because if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections, that makes sense, okay? So I have 6 and thirds. I'm going to do it over here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's overlapping with some of my thirds there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now I'm going to label my sixth. I'm going to kind of zoom in here. So I have 0, 6, oops, just like I have 0 thirds. I have 1 6 here. Now I can see that this 1 6 is closer to 0 than 1 third, so I know it is smaller. I have 2 6, which is also equivalent to 1 third because they fall on the same spot on the number line. I have 3 6 here, 4 6. Those are also equivalent. They fall on the same spot of the number line. Moving over. 5 6 and 6 6, which is equivalent to 1 whole and equivalent to 3 thirds. Okay, sorry it's kind of squished here. 7 6, 8 6. Now that's also equivalent to this one, to 4 thirds. 9 6, 10 6. Okay, 10 6 is also equivalent to 5 thirds because they fall on the same spot on the number line. 11 6 and 12 6, which is also equivalent to 2 or to 6 thirds. I'm going to keep going. If I can squeeze it in here. 13 6, 14 6, 15 6, 16, 17/6, and 18/6, which is also equivalent to 3 wholes or to 9/3. All right? So I can see at my number line where two fractions fall at the same spot, I know they are equivalent. Now I know this kind of looks kind of crazy, but it gets easier the more you practice. Okay, now if I go down here, what equal parts do I have in between 0 and 1? How many equal parts? Well, instead of just counting the lines, 1, 2, I'm counting the sections. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3 equal parts. 3 equal parts means they are thirds. So I'm going to label that. I'm going to label those thirds. 0 thirds, 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with those 6. I'm going to label that again. So I'm going to divide this into 6 equal parts now. Okay, 0, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6. Now I didn't say this before, but I'm trying to figure out which two fractions fall on that black dot. So even though 1/3 and 2, 6 are equivalent, that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for which two fall on the black dot. 4, 6, 5, 6, and 6, 6. Okay, 2/3 and 4, 6 fall on the black dot. That's where they go in the number line, and that also means they are equivalent or equal. Okay, now again, I'm counting the sections, not the lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4. That means they are fourths. And I'm trying to find what other fraction would fall at this spot. So if I had 0/4 here, I know I have 1/4 of that black dot, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. Now I kind of pick the fraction that I know that the number 4 could fit into. Just like up here, I picked 6 because I know that 3 goes into 6. So I'm thinking of a number where 4 would go into. And I know that 4 goes into 8, so I'm going to do 8ths. And to do that, I'm going to divide this up, and it's going to kind of overlap some of those ones that are already on there. Okay, as I have 8 sections now. I'm going to start here, 0/8, 1/8, 2/8. Now, since I'm only supposed to find what two fractions fall on this black dot, I'm going to stop right here. So I know that 1/4 and 2/8 fall on this black dot. That means they are equivalent. Okay, counting the sections here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, they are fourths. I'm going to draw that. I'm actually going to change my color. Okay, so I have 0/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. I did not pay attention to my whole numbers. I'm not starting with 0 and 1 over here. I'm starting with 1 and 2. So I need to go back and do that again. I'm not going to start with 0/4. I'm going to start with 4/4 because that's what is equivalent to 1 whole. Okay, so I got to go back and kind of erase this. All right. So actually, I'm starting with 4/4 over here, because that's what's equivalent to 1 whole, not 0/4. And then I count up from there. 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, and 8/4. Now, same with fourths. I was going to pick 8ths again because I know the 4 goes into 8, and that works well together. So I'm going to split this up the same way. It's going to overlap a little bit with those fourths lines. And I'm really just finding what two fractions fall on that black dot. So instead over here, I'm not starting with 0/8, I'm starting with 8/8. And then I almost did 1/8, 9/8, 10/8, 11/8, 12/8, 13/8, and 14/8. Okay, so I know that 7/4 is equivalent to 14/8. They both fall on this black dot. Okay, last one here. Count my sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, they are fifths this time. I'm going to change my color. Okay, they are fifths. And I'm looking at my whole numbers this time so I don't make the same mistake. 1 and 2. That means I'm not starting with 0/5. I'm starting with 5/5, because that's what's equivalent to 1 whole. 5/5, 6/5, 7/5, 8/5, 9/5, and 10/5 is equivalent to 2 wholes. Okay, but I'm just thinking about that black dot. And I'm thinking, okay, 5. What does 5 go into? If I did eighths, I don't know if it would line up nicely. I have to think about what does 5 go into. 5 goes into 10. So I think I'm going to do tenths. And I'm going to switch it. Okay, so I'm splitting this up. Here, here. As you see, I'm splitting each fifth in half and then going on over those fifth lines. Okay, so down here I'm going to have 10 tenths to start to equal to 1 whole, then 11 tenths, 12 tenths, 13 tenths, and 14 tenths. Okay, so 7/5 and 14 tenths both fall on that black dot, and they are also equivalent. I hope this made a little bit more sense. If you are confused, please message me. I'm happy to help you. Okay, everybody, have a great day. Bye.